had mushrooms in my bathroom.
Wait, mushrooms growing on the floor of your bathroom?
And I had maggots inside the wall, so the wall is crumbling. That's completely ridiculous, and no one should be forced to live under those conditions.
Okay.
He's looking for a break on the rent, or he just wanted to live there rent-free. I don't know.
Let's be honest, there's something wrong with this place.
Plaintiff Russell Gardner claims his former tenant took off without paying the rent and left his apartment torn to shreds. He's suing for $3,987. Defendant Tim Bush claims the apartment was a health hazard and that the plaintiff was a negligent landlord. He's countersuing for $5,000 for moving expenses
Swear the
and
testimony
rent.
you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Najee.
This is case number 022 on the docket, Gardner versus Bush.
And welcome to both of you.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Let's see what we have here. The plaintiff, Russell Gardner, you are suing the defendant, Tim Bush, for $3,987 for unpaid rent and damages to his apartment. And you, sir, are countersuing for $5,000 for moving expenses and rent.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? Okay.
Your Honor.
So what is, welcome, and what is your case?
Thank you, Your Honor. So I own a two-family house that the first floor apartment I was renting out to the defendant beginning in September of 2017.
Yes.
It's a three-bedroom, two-bathroom apartment on the first floor. The rent is $1,895 per month.
Okay.
There are late fees when the rent is paid late.
Is there a lease?
There is a lease. If you look at Exhibit D, there is a lease as well as the lease renewal. He went month to month. So on the lease renewal, it shows the rent to be $1,895.
But you and your family were there for 2 years?
He was there for about 2 years. Is for him and his son and his daughter. So
Got
the
it.
three of them were living there. So everything, you know, rent wasn't always paid on time. Then I received, if you
Your
look
Honor,
at
that's not-
Exhibit
that's not quite true.
H, shows a notice of violation that I received. That was August 22 of 2019, because the defendant was leaving his trash cans out on the street all the time. And after the trash pickup, he's supposed to remove them and put them
Your Honor,
in the
that's
back
not
by
true,
the
Your Honor.
garage. And I sent notice to it's a $79 fine.
But basically, he was there for, and his family were there for 2 years. He paid up the rent for the first 2 years he was there.
Yeah, I thought it was a good relationship. I'm just
Okay.
bringing this up because I think that he got mad at me for asking him to pay for the fine.
It says you're suing here for 3 months' rent.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm suing for the rent.
What 3 months?
It'd be September, October, and part of November.
Did he tell you why he wasn't paying for those 3 months?
He told me that there was a repair with the shower in the master bathroom.
Yeah.
There's a leak.
Yes.
It needed to be caulked.
Not everyone deserves to be a landlord, and he doesn't, because he's not telling the full truth about what happened. He's not telling the court why I stopped paying. The only reason
Why
I didn't
did you
pay,
stop? Yeah.
because I had not on one occasion, not on 2 occasions, not on 3 occasions, on 4 separate occasions, I had mushrooms growing out of the tile floor in my bathroom. Your Honor, I ask you, have you ever had mushrooms grow out of your tile floor?
No, if we grow vegetables, normally it would be not in the bathroom.
Not in the bathroom.
Makes sense.
Call me crazy. But wait, mushrooms growing on the floor of your bathroom?
Mushrooms growing on 4 separate occasions, and the plaintiff actually
Why
came.
were you made aware of that?
There was a mushroom that grew. He sent me a picture of it.
I sent him 4
My
separate
response
occasions, Your Honor.
was that, okay, let's schedule it. I want to get the caulking done. And he said, wait. He wanted to wait because he brought in the health department. He wanted them to inspect it, which is fine.
When you have mushrooms growing, you don't simply caulk over it. You inspect what's causing the mushrooms to grow. The plaintiff never took those actions to make sure that my family, my 2 minor children, were safe. It would be one thing if we were on the ground floor, Your Honor. My first floor was separated by a 6-foot basement. There's no foundation in which mushrooms to grow. And I made the plaintiff aware on every single occasion.
He didn't make me aware. He
was
talked
sent
about
he
all
was
these
sent pictures.
occasions.
He was
I
sent
think
pictures every time.
it's not true.
But the growth of the mushrooms in the bathroom, that caused you to believe that there's something wrong in this apartment?
Right, which caused me to contact the city of West Hartford.
And what did the city of West Hartford say when they inspected?
Well, unfortunately, the city does not conduct tests for mold, but they did find other numerous violations.
Why do you think they were growing there? I mean, normally, let's be honest, someone finds mushrooms growing in their bathroom, there's something wrong with this place. I mean, that's just...
Well, we're making, the defendant is making it sound like a mushroom garden. It was one mushroom that grew, and then
Yeah, but
On
it's
four
not because
separate
of the
occasions.
mold or... That's all I'm trying to find out. What is causing, however many grew, even if it's one, why are things growing out of the bathroom floor?
in my opinion, since you asked,
I have
I
an
think
exhibit
that
here.
the problem is that
I have
there
photos
was
here
a
that
leak
show
in the
the mushroom.
shower,
Yeah.
and it had to be repaired. So at least the first step is to have the leak repaired, which
Your Honor,
I did.
I have
And then the
photos.
second step, I mean,
Okay.
he brought the inspector in.
Let's take a look at the picture of whatever it is that's growing in the...
And Your Honor, I mean, it doesn't stop there because that's what it looked like before. This is what it still continued to look like. The shower was still leaking. If you see the mold in that corner where that mushrooms are growing out of, that's completely ridiculous, and no one should be forced to live under those conditions.
Okay, so at some point he tells you about this. Obviously, something needs to be done. What was done to solve this problem?
What was done was I caulked the shower to stop the leak from the shower onto the floor. Then the problem went away.
No, the problem didn't go away. The mushrooms just stopped growing because he caulked over the area where it was growing. He never took the precautions to figure out why the mushrooms were growing in the first place.
Was there ever a test done on molding?
No, he never gave me the opportunity. I made it very clear to him, Your Honor, I would not remit rent until the citation violations were cleared and a mold test was performed.
Your Honor, the defendant is making up
Sir, I have-
his
I have
description
evidence.
that
There's nothing to
I
make up. I
covered
have
over
evidence.
where the mushroom was growing. I caulked the shower.
Okay.
My job as a landlord is to do the repairs. I
It's
did the
to ensure the
repairs
safety
in
of
a
the
Hold
tenant.
on,
Okay.
sir. Let him finish.
I did the repairs in a timely manner. I acted in good faith. I can show examples where the defendant did not act in good faith. He was looking for a break on the rent, I assume, or he just wanted to live there rent-free. I don't know. But it was very intimidating because, I mean, he used to play for the NFL. He's a big guy.
Okay,
He was I felt
what-
very intimidated by
Okay,
it.
this could decide the case. Hold on. Who'd you play for?
The Steelers, Your Honor.
Judgment for the play. No, geez. I'm just joking.
Well, you know, and here's what's funny, Your Honor. He brings up my size and intimidating, but that wasn't intimidating when I was cutting his lawn. It wasn't intimidating when
Okay.
I had the landscapers come out and work on his yard. So this claim of intimidation is ridiculous.
Okay, that's not going to be a factor in this. We can't rule against people because they're big or
Of course.
play football. Okay, so you played for the Steelers?
And believe me, it was nothing glorious.
What position did you play?
I was
I'm
inside
embarrassed that I
inside linebacker, and I'm 52 years old now, so that was quite some time ago.
Yeah.
It's when they first created the what they call the developmental squad, the practice squad.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to be part of that for almost a year.
So I wouldn't have seen you during a game.
No.
Then
Believe
I'm-
me.
then I'm
Believe
not
me.
embarrassed.
To be honest with you, if that were the case, I would hope my finances would be different and I wouldn't have to live in certain
Well,
places
that's
that
what
I
I
had
was
to.
thinking. If you were a star with the
Right. This would not
Steelers.
even. I'd not even be. It would be. Yeah. Never.
If you were part of the steel curtain, then there wouldn't be trouble with the walls. Did he ever threaten you? No.
No,
So, all right. So,
he was angry at me, but never
Well,
threatened
yeah,
me.
but big people are allowed
people
to
get
be
angry. Yeah.
Plaintiff got angry too, Your Honor, because only 6 days after the reinspection occurred,
Okay.
he hits me with a notice to leave the unit.
when did you get the eviction notice or apply to evict him?
I consulted a lawyer, and the notice to quit was
October 3rd, Your Honor.
Okay, so the beginning of October.
6 days after the reinspection
and
occurred.
he hadn't paid September rent. And when I asked him about his intention to pay rent, this is face to face, he just yelled at me.
I yelled at him very clearly
Okay.
that I was not going to remit rent until I had a mold test performed. But I wasn't going to do the mold test until the repairs were completed that the city had mandate that he do.
In the forms that, in the answer you gave that you submitted here for the case, there's mention of asbestos.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about what you know.
All I know about it is one day, as I'm at the house, workers go to the basement and I see a big truck in the yard. No one's giving me warning that there's going to be work done, so I went to go ask the workers, what are you doing? They proceeded to tell me, we are removing asbestos from the basement. Now, one of the violations that the city cited plaintiff for was having circular holes throughout the flooring of the unit, which means that asbestos and mold was freely able to enter the unit from the holes that were in violation of housing laws. So I'm being exposed to asbestos. Never did he make it known to us that asbestos was present, and he never informed us that he was having a scheduled cleanup or removal. We were there during that time that process took place, and that is not the way you remove asbestos. So my whole contention is he was unprofessional. He did not take the proper steps to ensure the safety of me and my family. When you have asbestos removed, and you do not warn the tenants, especially with minor children, and you don't take the proper precautions when it's being removed, to me, that is indicative the way he has been a landlord. And I shouldn't have to live in those conditions, and I shouldn't be forced to expose my kids to those conditions. And not only that, when he says 3 months rent, when he serves me with a notice of eviction on October 3rd, what rent would he expect me to pay? He didn't ask for a pay or quit, Your Honor. He told me to quit possession. And it was only because of the retaliatory action when I contacted the city and I made it very clear, I'm gonna have this place tested for mold.
The asbestos has nothing to do with
course
what
it
we're
does.
here for today.
Of course it does.
I've never heard the defendant say anything about asbestos.
The real question is, was
before
asbestos present, Your
today.
Honor?
Why did you issue the eviction notice on October 3rd?
The rent had not been paid for over a month. I saw no good faith intention that it
Okay.
would be paid, and the repairs had been done.
The eviction notice was not,
It's not for him to move out, it's to get the rent paid.
but it didn't say pay or leave.
My lawyer, he just explained.
Yeah, but there is a specific eviction notice where it is conditional upon non-payment of rent. In other words, if you pay the rent, you don't have to leave. That was not what was issued. He was given X amount of days to leave, not you don't have to leave if you pay me September's rent. Because if he's late with September's rent, the eviction notice was the 3rd day of October. So clearly, if rent was the issue, that should have been in the notice. Pay up beyond the $35 penalty per month or whatever, or you've got to leave.
I would like to just bring to your attention
But, sir,
Exhibit G.
Your Honor, can I say one more thing? I must say
I'd
this.
like to finish
My
what I'm
son, and I
saying.
have
Can I finish what I'm
documentation
saying? I mean, I
that
keep
my
getting-
son was suffering nosebleeds.
Okay, I have that.
Now, my sister's she's a doctor, and she was very happy that after we moved from the unit, my son ceased having those nosebleeds.
I'd like to continue
let
the
him-
conversation.
There could be
He's
long-term
kind of
I've got
all
it.
over
I've
the
got it.
place.
Let me hear him. Yes.
I'd just like to bring your attention to Exhibit G. It's a letter from the from the town health official. It says nothing about a mushroom. Talks about some repairs that are needed, and they were all completed. Meanwhile, the defendant had said if the repairs get completed, he would pay the rent.
Okay.
No
And a mold
indication
test
of paying the
completed.
rent.
What are the specific damages, the $340 worth of damages?
Well, I'd like to bring your attention, it's Exhibit A. If you look at Exhibit A, in one of the bathrooms, the vanity cabinet, the medicine cabinet had been removed. It was completely removed from the wall. Now, the picture we're looking at now shows the new mirror that I had to paint and repair the wall and replace it with a new mirror. There was also the front door had been damaged. The lock had been damaged.
I
They
see
put a
that.
pipe cleaner. They
And you know why, Your Honor?
disassembled the lock. I never heard anything from the tenant about that. Nothing. And it's like I tried to do a walkthrough with him. Nothing. He didn't want to do a walkthrough after he moved out. Fine, but it's like this is
I didn't want to be in the
not
unit
the kind
anymore
of tenant
with the
that
health-
anyone would want.
Okay.
So,
You
Your
know,
Honor, here's
I
why
want to
the
do the
here's why the
repairs,
cabinet-
but he's like all
Here's why
he's
the
like
cabinet-
blindsiding me All the time. I'm just trying to take care of the apartment.
So now I'm
always-
intimidating and I'm blindsiding. Your Honor, this is ridiculous. The reason that medicine cabinet came off the wall is because there's mold throughout the unit, as I have here, pictures of maggots inside the wall. So the wall is crumbling. He did not install that.
I'm hearing this for the first
That he
time.
did not install that. He's the one who repaired these, Your Honor, so he's not aware of the first time. He did the repairs after we made him aware of it. The reason that medicine cabinet came off the wall is, as you see, he didn't put it as a recess. He hung a medicine cabinet on the wall. The drywall behind that is deteriorating, so it wasn't installed properly and it came off. So it's not like somebody destroyed his property. His property's in disarray. It's in disrepair, and that's why these things are happening.
This is an unfair characterization. It's a very nice apartment. I used to live in it myself.
Here's the deal. Clearly, you both wanted this relationship over. It was
I didn't
Howard-
want it over. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Okay, but I mean, you wanted him.
I wanted my rent.
Yeah, but you evicted him, or you moved to evict him, and the statement, as I'll say again, didn't say upon payment of rent, you don't have to leave. On the one hand, I'm going to deal with both suits at once. I am seeing from your side that you are entitled to the September rent, the $1,895. You have sued for the security deposit
And other costs because I had
and
to
other
move.
costs. You are entitled to the security deposit, but the other costs you're suing for, you chose to move, and you were not, in fact, evicted, so therefore, I'm awarding no moving expenses.
Even though, Your Honor, I had to leave because of the health and safety of my children, because the
I'm not saying
plaintiff
you
didn't
didn't
take
have a
any
motive.
action.
I'm not saying you didn't have a motive. I'm just saying it was your decision to move rather than fight it. So I'm not paying for the moving expenses. You're going to wind up paying rent someplace. It turns out you were leaving anyway.
But now I'm paying more rent when I didn't.
Well, that's when I do the offset, I fine for the defendant $709.
It's but for the plaintiff's inaction and unprofessionalism and really lack of concern for my family that caused all this.
A lot of what he said, he was made up, and he's very good at making things up.
Hey, YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.